guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. I'm Jade if you're new here. So quickly, let me say this. I realized mid-video that I kept referring to Pero as Pere. I am so sorry. I got Big Brother in my brain, y'all. Don't fry me, you guys. It was an honest mistake. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or anything. I apologize. And yeah. So we're going to be discussing an update in the ongoing saga between Tuface Idibia's wife Annie and the accusations that she leveled against his so-called baby mama. I'm doing my air quotation. You guys can see me. The reason why I'm doing my air quotation is because something else has now come to light that I want us to discuss. We're also going to be discussing Tuface brother's recent post. The guy is not letting up. He continues to air the family's dirty linens on social media. So we are going to be discussing about that. But one thing I want to say before we go any further, and I don't know if this is because a lot of time has passed shedding more light and giving us more information about these people's entanglement, but I do feel like a lot of people were misinformed about the true nature of Pere, Annie, and Tuface's relationship. I will elaborate on that as we go further along in this video. But first, I want you to take a look at this now viral video of Pere's father basically revealing that Tuface and Pere were actually married. And from my understanding, this video is at least 2 years old. It was conducted by the guy at Asabe Africa. Shout out to him. He's always scooping these interviews. And I find that whenever there is an interview leakage from maybe years back, it's always his videos, like his interviews, and so shout out to him. But anyways, take a look at this video and I'll be back with the rest of my thoughts.
Your daughter, the very respectable daughter Pero, Adini was the first woman to give Tuface his 3 first children. How do you feel being in love? One of Africa's most respected musicians, Tuface Idibia.
Idibia was brought to my life by my daughter. And they were going out. The first, I had the second, I had the third. And then they were just enjoying themselves. They grew up to whatever.
But when you got him closer, who do you see him to be? Do you have any intervention for him, or you just welcome him as part of the family?
I don't just welcome him. I want to find out what is he after.
What is he after?
Yeah.
That is very, very fantastic.
And I got to know that he wanted to marry my daughter. That's all. And what can I do? I asked my daughter, what do you see in this man? Why? She said, just love him. Love him. God bless you.
If you love him, God bless you. So you wanted her happiness too?
Yes.
Anytime you see those children come to you now, they will come to you. How do you feel seeing this?
They will be here. They will be in this house in another 4 days.
Come and greet grandpa. What of Tuface? Do you see him often now?
I don't see him.
Why?
I don't see him. He's a businessman. That's all.
When did you speak with him last, or since when last?
I think about 2 years.
2 years ago. You're being a very strong father-in-law. I've allowed that.
Yeah.
Then do you see him, your daughter still marrying for a long time?
Yeah, they married up to date. They are married.
One of his wives.
Because he has, after my daughter, he married another woman. So,
but the good thing is that your daughter gave me his first children, which is historical.
yes.
And with him, you see the future of Nigerian entertainment.
So you guys just saw that. That interview cracked me up. I was laughing. First of all, Benga is hella funny. The kind of softball questions that he asked them always cracks me up. Imagine him asking Perez's father, how does he feel about his daughter being the first woman to give birth to Tuface's children? As if that is a good thing, that this man, Tuface, continues to sow his wild oats all over the place. Like, that man, the Perez's father, should be happy about that. Should be wearing that as a badge of honor or something. I mean, that just made me laugh. But that's always been his style, and I think it's kind of funny. But anyways, moving on to the video itself. The man, Perez's father, said that Tuface and Perez were married. He did not really elaborate on whether or not the wedding was a traditional wedding or a court wedding or what kind of wedding it was, because yeah, I know, and this might come off as sensitive because I know some people might get offended by this, and yeah, I know some people might get offended by this, but traditional wedding is nice and lovely and cute or whatever, but it's not legally binding. It's not legally binding. The only marriage recognized internationally as legally binding is the court wedding. Traditional wedding, cute as they are not legally binding. And church wedding, you know, you can make that argument, but that is still debatable. But the one wedding that is recognized wherever you go is the court wedding. So yeah, and as for Perez's father, we're not exactly sure because he did not elaborate if it was a traditional wedding that they had or if maybe they went to Ikoyi or wherever they went. You know how old people sometimes embellish? Maybe they just had an introduction. You know, both family came and said, we recognize that you're going to be with our son. And this one said, you recognize you're going to be with our daughter, blah, blah, blah. And everybody went their separate ways, you know, because what I was hoping to see in this interview, because a lot of people were running with this. You know, saying that, oh, Perez is actually the wife and Annie is actually the baby mama, blah, blah, blah. And then people kept referencing that as proof that Perez and Tuface are married. And then I went looking for this video thinking that it was going to elaborate more on the kind of wedding that they had if it was a court marriage. But I didn't see anything like that. So like I said, it could just be an introduction, people coming together and saying that we are married, you know. And if it was a court wedding, if Perez and Tuface are actually legally married in the court, that will make whatever it is that Tuface did with Annie in Dubai basically a carnival. That was all it was. He invited a few people over. They ate, they drank, and they wore costumes. That's basically all that was. Because as I recall, we never did see their court wedding. We saw their traditional wedding, native law and custom, and we saw their church wedding or their white wedding in Dubai, but we never did see them do a court wedding. And if you know anything about Nigerian celebrities, they don't play with that. That court wedding, they must go to Ikoyi and register themselves there. And now I'm thinking, could it be that Perez and Tuface had already done that? Is that why? So many questions, guys. So many questions. And I'm not expecting any of them to come out and say, oh, here's my paper, here's my document stating that I am married to this person. Although that would be nice if they will come out and basically say, okay, you people, calm down. Perez is married legally. That would make me happy. You know, that would kind of shed more light to all of this. So it's just a mess. And like I said before, a lot of people were misinformed about the true nature of the relationship between Tuface and Perez. A lot of people were misinformed about this. You know, Annie was seen as the long-suffering girlfriend, the girlfriend who sacrificed everything, who stuck with him when he had nothing, while the guy went about, you know, philandering and impregnating all kinds of women. But from what I have now come to understand, so was Perez. Perez was also the long-suffering girlfriend who stuck by Tuface. I really, really do believe that. At the very least, he was dating the two women at the same time. You know, probably giving them false hope, making false promises that he knew he had no business keeping. And maybe part of the ways to show to Perez and her family that he really wanted her was to go on and marry her in a traditional way or something or the other. So I strongly believe that these two women were in a relationship with this man. That was why the battle, the competition was so fierce. The competition as to who is going to win the heart of this man was so fierce. That was why Annie was so competitive and why she celebrated elaborately when she eventually won, in quotation, the heart of Tuface by Tuface publicly marrying her. I think these two women were in a relationship with this man at the same time. The difference between Annie and Pere, in my opinion, is basically that one was in the limelight and one wasn't. With Annie, she was a model, she was video vixen, and she was all over everywhere, while Pere was more behind the scene. I strongly believe that this guy was dating these two women, promising them the same thing, and so it became a competition between them, which just made him a really twisted person. And because Annie was in the limelight, she was able to use her celebrity status to gain sympathy, further vilifying Pere. So I think this is what happened. And then Tuface publicly married Annie in an elaborate destination wedding with the mindset that if things doesn't work out between himself and Annie, he can always fall back on Pere. And now that things are shaky between him and Annie, it looks like he wants to fall back on Pere and make good on the promise that he made to her. And from the look of things, it seems like the family are very much on board with this. It's very obvious based on his brother's social media posts as well as accusations about Annie using voodoo on Tuface. It's very obvious that they are very much open to having, they've basically embraced. I don't even think Pere ever went anywhere, let alone me saying that they are embracing her. No, she never went. She was always there. This is why I find Annie's outburst a bit disingenuous. Let's say for the sake of argument that what Pere's father said is true, and that Pere and Tuface were married, whether traditionally or whatever, then that is not just a situation of side chick anymore. Pere is not just a side chick anymore. You stop being a side chick after the first child, if at all what she's saying is the truth. At some point, you have to understand that this person is in this person's life forever. Side chick do not plan to remain in a man's life unless, of course, the situation changes, But they've gone beyond being side chick after the first child, the second, and the third, which, based on what I now see, I don't believe at all that Pere was ever a side chick. I believe Tuface was dating these two women at the same time, making different commitments and promises to them. I strongly believe that. So this is why I find Annie's post very disingenuous, because in my mind I'm thinking, this woman is more than just a side chick, but why are you making it seem as though this is what it is? Annie makes it seem as though Pere came into her life to disrupt her marriage, her relationship, and she's a victim and all of that. That is not the case. If you remember, there's another baby mama too. That one don't know where the level they. That one don't kukuma move on, got married, even though Annie is now trying to rope that one into her mess with Pere, even though Annie is trying to rope that one in by using the phrase baby mamas, because we all know that Pere is not the only baby mama that Tuface has. Annie keeps roping Sumbo into the mix, even though a few years ago she was singing Sumbo's praise, talking about how Sumbo is such a good mom and and now I don't know what has happened, so maybe it's true what the brother-in-law is saying, but I just don't like you trying to lie and make up things and just so that you can come off as being a victim. I don't like that. I don't like people who plays victim in circumstances that they created. You could have walked away at any point in time, even though you knew this man, even if, let's say, for the sake of argument, you've known this man since he was born, even though he's older than you. If you know this man since he was born and all of a sudden he's having all these women, blah, 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 you should have walked away. You should have had enough self-respect, self-love to walk away from a relationship, instead of making a well-informed decision to stay in that relationship, and then a few years later you are dragging us into your drama. We're not asking you. This is not the kind of gist we want. We want one of your friends, your close pal, someone in your circle to spread the word to expose you. We don't want you coming out on social media, exposing yourself. Yeah, on a serious note, this is so bizarre and so messed up. And I am sorry I kept referring to Pero as Pere. I don't know, I got Big Brother in my brain, y'all. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's just, it's crazy. I think Annie should count her losses. Pero has always been in the picture. We've never heard of Pero moving on. We've never heard of Pero flaunting one man or the other. And I think that's because she strongly believed that Tuface will come back eventually. That it was only a matter of time. That maybe whatever marriage that Tuface had with Annie was just a marriage of convenience, that he would come back to her. So I think that's why she never really moved on, because she never really moved on. She's always been in the picture. That is why Annie does not get along with her. Annie was so quick to make friends with Sumbo, because he knows that Sumbo has now moved on. Sumbo now has a husband, blah, blah, blah. But she refused to publicly make peace with Pero, because she knew that Pero was here to stay. Pero was not going anywhere. So yeah, I think it's a conundrum what's happening. And as for the brother, his name is Charlie. He had one more message for Annie before he finally put the matter to rest. And this is what he posted. He said, "I pray for composure as I write these, and I pray for clarity because there is so much to say. This is in no shape or form an attack on anybody. I just wanted to create a peaceful space in my heart and move forward. Annie, I am sure you are shocked that all this is coming from me, because in your heart of hearts, you know I have always loved you and treated you the best way a brother-in-law should, not because you gave me a reason to, but because I tried to see through Ino's eyes, and what he loved I cherished. Respect is not a title, respect is a gesture, a feeling you give and you feel when you are giving. Even though I have been nothing but respectful to you, you can't actually be demanding respect from me anymore when you have none for your husband or any for members of his family, his friends and staff. You publicly humiliate him every chance you get, from pouring him food at my wedding to throwing a bottle of Hennessy at him at my workplace, or shouting at him at the top of your lung in front of his celebrity friends or acquaintances, fighting at the airport, just to mention a few, over matters that could have been addressed privately. Or is it you asking your maids to lock the door and send the key to you in South Africa, even though you knew your mom-in-law was in the house visiting her sons and grandkids from Abuja, and out of respect for herself, she came to stay at my house? What was her crime? Or is it you attacking my wife barely 3 weeks after we lost our baby, just because she wouldn't join your never-ending war with baby mamas in quotation and enemies in quotation that you create from thin air just because you said yes and they said no? Please tell me, sis, where should I begin to respect you from? You're quick to shout and mention 7 kids and your husband being sucked dry, but you filled your household up with 4 maids, 2 PAs, a live-in mom, a live-in cousin, and a brother at the annex, all to take care of your 2 daughters. The other kids are far away, but somehow it's singular me who visits once in a blue moon from my house in Festac that's the problem. Which in-law haven't been giving you space in your house? Please tell me. You think when I sit to chat with Ino, which we rarely do, it will always be to talk about money? That's all you think we share as brothers? Because I am not a millionaire? You don't ever visit, you don't call or pick up your calls, you reply text messages only when it benefits you. I am the one who shows up with gifts on birthdays and holidays. Tell me, Annie, have you ever sent a single good wish card to your only in-law in Lagos, in bad health or in good times? Oh, you're a celebrity, you're busy and always tired. I should understand, right? All your love is seen only on Instagram, or for the photo op, the good wife who accommodates despite all. Because deep down in your heart, you have marked me for war, and I am a member of your tribe of enemies you have created in your mind, and thou shalt never be loved. Please, where are the in-laws who are trying to destroy your marriage? Funny enough, the in-laws accepted you wholeheartedly for the sake of their son and tried to grow in love and harmony with you, but you never saw it because you were already blinded by pre-installed hate. You should know better not to force us to choose sides over this matter when there are innocent children involved who are also our sons and daughters, nieces and nephews. All we can do as responsible people is to broker peace, no matter how difficult. The happiness of the home is for us all, but war is your only language. Finally, what scares me most these days is the violence. Where does it end, Annie? The fight. Your husband has his own wahala, but is that going to be a solution to this complicated situation life has thrown at you? Is it when you stab him in the chest while he sleeps over a call from Pero demanding he speak to his kids in the middle of the night due to time difference from the US, for example, that you will have peace when he is dead, and then what? You will be right and we will be wrong, then what? How does he even function as a musician from that kind of environment? Have a rethink, Annie. You made us victims of your rage and the war you have chosen never to let go. Yet you're quick to cry foul. We can't all agree with you all the time because now your husband be king and you are the queen. We must all bow down to your every command. And when you call for war, we must answer. Life is bigger than who has money and who doesn't. We must not all be millionaires to be happy. I wish you peace and all the best, Annie. God knows I have tried. Bye. So you guys just heard me read that. That was Charlie's last message to Annie. He has promised never to come back again because he was done and he was moving on. I have to say though that the description that Charlie gave about one day possibly stabbing, in the chest while he sleeps was very morbid, was very graphic, was very detailed. And it seems to me, usually when people explain things in such details, it seems to me that that is an actual fear that Tuface might really have, that he has possibly discussed with his brother, because that was so vivid, the description, that was so vivid, and it was morbid and very weird. And I'm hoping that it never gets to that. And I'm hoping that everyone involved know to leave the marriage, the relationship before it ever gets to that. That scared the crap out of me, only because this is something that we have seen happen so many times in the news. We have seen it happen, women losing their minds over whatever reason and doing unspeakable things to their spouse, to their husband. So I hope it never gets to that. And I hope that every party involved will choose to walk away from the relationship before it ever gets to that. Like, honestly, the guy, some of the things that he said, talking about how Innocent is dying. I think this guy didn't just come out. I think he came out because his brother has been talking to him, and his brother doesn't want to come out because Innocent is a very quiet person. He might be a philanderer, but he's very quiet, very gentle in nature. Maybe he's had this conversation so many times with his brother, and that one just wants to come out and set the record straight. I hope he never gets to this because it is so scary. That is why I didn't just summarize. That is why I actually took time to read everything out, because this is freaking scary, guys. I hope he never gets to that. I feel like this was just something that has been bubbling up for some time in his mind, and he just wanted an opportunity to actually say his piece, because like you said, Annie is always playing the victim. Personally, I do believe that Annie did build her brand centered around being the long-suffering girlfriend whose husband or boyfriend or fiance dumped on her all over the place, cheated repeatedly. So that is the image that Annie has been able to sell to the majority of her fans and people looking from the outside. And like I have said, and like I have come in to realize, there is definitely more to the story. There is a reason why Pero has refused to marry somebody else. Trust me. If na man, that woman they find since to marry, she for don't marry. She's a good looking woman. She's pretty and she seems to have a life together. So what man wouldn't want her? I think she's not even low key. This is high key, waiting for Tuface to be done with Anne, and then so that he can come and marry her, which I think is really sad when you look at it. Just sitting around waiting for a man to decide that, okay, you are next, it's your turn now for me to spend however long I am going to spend with you. This is such a shit show, guys. But yeah, I wanted to bring you guys this update, coming up with something. I don't know, I might do a live stream or I might just do a voiceover. We'll see. But yeah, on that note, thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. And like I said, I am so sorry that I kept referring to Pero as Pere. That is so messed up. That is so messed up. I can't believe I did that. And I am sorry, you guys. And thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.